What's up, everybody? This is Chris Sarai bringing you another edition of the Car Concierge Show, the show that helps with the buying, selling, maintaining, and repairing of your vehicle. On today's show, we're going to talk about the Waze founder as he talks about the evolution of the drivability of vehicles, and he tends to think that the next generation will not drive vehicles at all. After that, we're of course going to do our pretty much weekly review of the latest recalls as Ford comes out with another recall that could be quite damaging to Ford owners. So we're going to check out for that. And last but not least, we're going to pretty much ruin our days, and we're going to talk about a murder to a young mother that happened in a McDonald's drive-thru. So let me start off like this. Today was one of the best days I've been having for quite some time. I just have to admit that it was going fantastically. I met a billionaire that is going to help me with a couple of deals. I'm really happy about that. Interesting guy. A guy has a car in every state that he has a home just for his dog. Interesting stuff. So I met him. We're talking about some really great business. Wonderful guy. So that was part of a fantastic day. Lunchtime, I had the most fantastic lunch. It was delicious. Everything was going fantastically. And I get back to work. You know, I go back into my regular gig. And one of my favorite customers came in. And, you know, she is a lady of an age of 95. And I want to just start off and just drop this bomb, and I hope my mom's not watching this episode, but I'm going to say that there should be some restrictions on, you know, the elderly having driver's license or even having the ability to drive. Now, I love this young lady to death, but she is 95 years old, and she's bringing her vehicle in for some damage to it, and I'm not even positive that she caused the damage to the vehicle. And all things considered, she is, and it seems to be, a fairly decent driver. But she could barely walk. It bothers me to some degree. But, you know, I just wanted to throw that out there because it was on my mind, and I was thinking about it. And I'm thinking that there should be some restrictions on how old you can be to keep your driver's license. And my question would be is, do older people have to go through any process to renew their driver's license to the point where you checking their eyesight? Because I know she can't see that great. You checking their ability to drive because real stiff. And of course, me and all my team have to drive her car around our lot because it's fairly small and we don't want her to hit a wall or something. So, you know, just wanted to get that off my chest real quickly. I knew that my perfect day, that didn't ruin my perfect day. What's going to ruin my perfect day is the last story that we talk about today. So shout out to Kimmy. But after a certain age, I think you shouldn't be driving. Okay, so first up, we're going to talk about the co-founder of Waze. He had a really interesting take on the future of vehicles and what's going to be happening in the next generation when it comes to driving vehicles, okay? And this is going to be a reader, so I'm going to pop y'all in here, read this out real quick. All right, so this is Yahoo Finance and Business Insider. The co-founder of Waze predicts the next generation will not drive. So this is from Anna Alchek, and this is from today, Wednesday, July 16th. And that's the gentleman right there. Waze co-founder Uri Levine predicts that kids born today won't get behind the wheel. Levine said within a decade, most paid mobility and transportation services will be autonomous. That is really bad for you Uber and Lyft drivers, bus drivers, if that's really true. He compared the shift to driverless cars to past automations like elevator operators. Serial entrepreneur Uri Levine helped build two navigation companies that achieved roughly billion-dollar exits. But he predicts kids born today, known as Generation Beta. Why would y'all let them name y'all Generation Beta? That is not cool. Won't end up behind the wheel. They will not drive, the Waze co-founder told Business Insider. A generation after that, if you will tell them that you used to drive cars yourself, they will not believe you. Levine's comments come in the wake of Tesla's launching its robotaxi service in Austin to a small group of users. Elon Musk has said that the vehicles will be in many other cities in the country by the end of 2025, and that by the second half of 2026 there will be millions of Teslas operating autonomously. Waymo, owned by Alphabet, started offering its service to the public in 2020 and has already provided millions of paid, fully autonomous rides. The company offers driverless taxi service in the San Francisco Bay Area, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Austin, and Atlanta. Even though Waymo and Tesla's driverless taxi launches are only available in certain locations right now, Levine said they will eventually transform driving. He said that a decade from now, most paid mobility and transportation service will be autonomous. That includes logistic public transportation and on-demand car services, he said. The impact will be dramatic, Levine said, adding that urban areas will barely see any drivers. According to Levine, any product can only become good enough once it's released to the market and users can interact with it. From there, it improves through iteration, he said. Levine said that when autonomous driving becomes more widespread, it will give people back a substantial amount of time in a 24-hour day. Dictating even 1 hour to driving is actually pretty significant, Levine said. Levine's thesis also includes a financial component. The co-founder said if someone pays $100 for an Uber ride today, the majority of it goes towards the driver. Some amount goes toward operation costs. Another fraction goes toward Uber. Once you take the driver out of the equation, the entire ride will be about $25, way more affordable and therefore way more demand at this price range, Levine said. Not everyone feels equally bullish on the future of driverless cars. Analysts at HSBC recently released a report suggesting that the potential market for driverless taxis was widely overestimated and that it could take years for robo-taxis to turn a profit. Levine said autonomous taxis are just the beginning. Instead of going to the shoe store, there could be a shoe store van that comes to the buyer directly. The technology could end up changing the retail industry and retail real estate market, Levine said. 50 years ago, there was a driver for the elevator, Levine said, and obviously we don't need a driver for the elevator anymore. Good points, all fantastic points. Now, why do we talk about this? This is my complete Wally theory, all in a nutshell. This is, and I talk about this pretty often, is that it's that lean towards the body not having to do anything. Just like the movie Wally. Everybody was morbidly obese. Everybody was in chairs that moved. The chairs moved. The ships were run by robots. All the robots did everything. This is the way that the world is trending right now. And I honestly don't think it's a good thing. I probably, for my age, I'm probably a lucky one that will probably not live to see a world like that. But it's coming, and it's definitely a world that is coming for our children. And when it comes to driving, it's going to create so many problems. All of the people who are making a living driving their vehicles, driving buses, delivery people. There's so many things that are going to be affected financially, and people's lives are going to be affected by the advancement of this technology. And of course, you can't stop it. It's not a situation where you have to stop it. It's a situation that we as people have to integrate ourselves into it to a point where we are still able to use it to benefit us financially, which means that a lot of people that are those people that drive for a living. Now, mind you, I don't think this is going to happen any significant time soon. It's not a extreme worry for those of us at my age or slightly younger than my age. We might not deal with this directly. Most of us will be already retired, moving on to different careers and getting away from the automotive industry, specifically driving, deliveries, and all those type of things. But it will affect our children. It will affect their ability to work those positions, which, I mean, we'd hope to move our children on to doing other things anyway. But those jobs are truly in jeopardy because of the advancement of this autonomous driving, the robo taxis, the robo vans. All of them are paramount to moving away from people doing the actual work. Okay? So let's keep going. Our weekly recall problemas, and I was thinking about this earlier when I was checking out what we're going to talk about today, and it does really seem like there's a lot of recalls coming out lately. I mean, Ford is leading the way. We've done lots and lots of Ford recalls, and they're massive recalls. They cover lots of models, lots of years. So it's crazy that all these recalls are coming steadfast, that we have shows to do pretty much every week, twice a week, talking about some recalls. And of course, I always talk about research and development, and I'm really starting to think that to some degree, the precise desire to make these vehicles good vehicles that stand the test of time and they don't have these major recall problems, I think that is being bypassed in the desire to get these vehicles out to the public because of fear of electric vehicles taking over. Because in most of the cases, the recalls that we're hearing, I mean, mind you, we did talk about some software update recalls, which are definitely going to be a future problem for EVs, but the majority of the recalls that we talk about weekly are recalls that are gas-powered vehicles, engine failure situations, brake failure situations. So I really am starting to think that the amount of recalls that we're seeing is almost proof that we're going away from making sure that these gas-powered vehicles that we're still producing are quality vehicles. And it might even be in an attempt to force or get people to think more about buying EV vehicles. So this is a quick reader. It's the last reader, then we're going to go into the last subject. And of course, another Ford recall. So let's check it out. All right, so of course this is Yahoo. Ford to recall 687,000 SUVs in U.S. for possible engine fires will cost it $570 million. This is from Jamie LaRoe and from the Detroit Free Press, and this is from today. Ford Motor Company, which leads all automakers in a number of recalls it has issued this year, put out a new recall this week and said the company will take a $507 million charge to its second quarter earnings because of it. The Dearborn-based automaker is recalling 694,271 SUVs in the United States and its territories due to a problem with fuel leaks that could heighten the risk of vehicle catching on fire. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said in a July 14th filing, following a year-long investigation into the United States alone, the recall affects about 687,000 vehicles, Ford spokesman Mike Levine said. Got double the Levine today. In the United States, the recall covers certain 2021-24 model year Bronco Sport and 2020 and 22 model year Escape SUVs. With 1.5-liter engines, the NHTSA estimates that 0.3% of recalled vehicles may have the defect. It's a low percentage. According to the NHTSA filing, fuel injectors in the impacted vehicles may crack, causing fuel to leak into the engine compartment and possibly ignite. It said vehicle occupants may notice a strong fuel smell inside or outside the vehicle. Instrument panel warnings, smoke, or visible flames. Levine said the automaker is not aware of any injuries related to this issue. He added that about 858,000 2021-2024 Bronco Sport and 2020 and 2022 Escape and 2019 and 24 Kuga vehicles globally. That includes the United States and its territories are part of the recall. Ford struggle with quality. Ford primarily builds its Escape at its Louisville assembly plant in Louisville, Kentucky. It builds the Bronco Sport in its plant in Hermosillo, Sonora, Mexico. Okay. This is Ford's 88th vehicle recall filed with the NHTSA since January of this year, topping all other automakers in the number of recalls filed. Ford has struggled with its quality for the past several years. In fact, it has been near the top or led in recall filings since 2020, according to NHTSA data. When Jim Farley was appointed as Ford CEO in October 20, he listed fixing quality and lowering warranty costs as a top priority. So far, he has paid for not achieving it. His compensation fell by $1.6 million to $24.9 million in 2024, compared with 2023, because he failed to hit company-set quality improvement targets. Ooh, that's really sad for him. The fuck. Meanwhile, in November 2024, Ford agreed to pay the second highest civil penalty in the NHTSA history as part of a 3-year consent order. The fine is up to $165 million, topped only by the Takata airbag consent order. In a NHTSA investigation that started in 2021 found that Ford did not recall vehicles with defective rearview cameras in a timely manner. It also said Ford failed to give accurate and complete recall information in line with the National Traffic and Motor Vehicle Safety Act requirements. Some safety advocates say the consent order, which requires Ford to meet various safety mandates, is partially driving the number of Ford recalls higher in recent months. Okay. The NHTSA can impose civil penalties for violation of federal safety laws. Volvo, for example, agreed in 2023 to pay $65 million for problems related to recalls, but such large fines against car makers have been generally rare. In a government filing on July 16th, Ford said of the latest recall, "We estimate the aggregate cost of the action based on the remedy options we are evaluating to be about $570 million and will be reflected in our second quarter 2025 results. Ford expected to report its second quarter earnings after the market closes on July 30th. Many analysts expect Ford to report earnings lower than a year ago, period. Dan Ives, managing director and senior equities analyst at Wedbush Securities, called the July 16 recall another headwind for Ford and speaks to the constant challenges ahead. Yes, there's been a lot of challenges ahead for these cats. That's been for sure. Wow. I mean, the amount of recalls that we talk about recently is just astronomical, and it's crazy. Another thing I was thinking about is that the Ford Bronco is pretty much just they have a, what's it called? The Land Rover Defender. It's almost the exact same vehicle. So Dollars and Donuts is going to have the same recall as well. And it's just a situation that we talk about a lot, is that they don't do the research and development like they used to. They don't spend the time building these vehicles and then testing these vehicles after they build them, because all of these problems are being found out in the field. People are finding these problems out as they drive them, because, you know, back in the day, there was Ford used to, and I know this because I used to work at a Ford plant for a little while. Ford used to build a car to fullness and then put a fool in that car and have them drive across country. And of course, they had all the bells and whistles. You know, they had the little, they would try to get, this was a long time ago. So they had a phone, you know, one of them carry phones. Y'all ain't gonna remember that. They used to have phones that was like in a box that you could carry, and, you know, had its own little battery and junk. And you'd have that in the car, and you would drive it. And usually, back then, I know that they would pretty much drive it from Indiana to like Texas. In some cases, they drive it to California. It just depended how much they wanted to, how many miles they wanted to put it on the vehicle to test to see how long it would last or whatever. Okay, they ain't doing nothing like that anymore. There's nothing like that being done anywhere anymore. Let's face it, they just don't do it. It's not a thing. And that's why we're getting all these recalls, because they have to get these cars out. They have to get these cars out into the market because they have to steal back market share. And they're not stealing back market share. They're just making it worse for themselves. They definitely, what most of these major automakers have to do, they got to cut back on the amount of models they have. They have to start to concentrate on the models that are successful. Now, that in itself, it creates a problem. It creates a problem because you're going to have those factories that build those certain models that are not selling. That's going to cause a problem for those workers at that factory. And it's just another situation where you have to bring everything together. Okay, if you're going to continue to throw these cars out there, then it's going to create a problem because as we see, lots of problems, lots of dangerous problems that could cause death, could cause problems for people in the future, causing people have to go back to the dealership when they really ain't got time to do that. So it's just one of those things. These automakers, Ford, GM, specifically. I'm specifically talking about these U.S. automakers because those are pretty much what matter to me or to most here. That to some degree, if we want to keep the people safe, we have to go back to a research and development framework when it comes to building these vehicles. And to some degree, as much it might hurt the public or might cause some loss of jobs, these automakers have to consolidate and concentrate. They have to find those models and those brands that are really selling and really working and concentrating on those brands and get rid of the ones that are not selling anymore. Because it's just going to become a problem down at the line where you're going to have and it's a major problem right now. These people just have major inventories of vehicles that are just not selling. They just sitting there. Just a waste of money. All right, my friends. So, last but not least, we're going to talk about a horrible incident that happened at a McDonald's. And of course, it happened. Not of course. I'm sorry. It happened over in Detroit. And I really wasn't going to talk about this story. It's not. But of course, it was in a drive-thru. So it is under what we consider the car concierge umbrella. But, eventually I'm going to just say, fuck y'all, and I'm going to just talk about it, whatever I want to talk anyway. But it can technically be put under the car concierge umbrella, okay? And it's just a horrible situation, and what it does is it highlights a mindset, a horrible mindset that a large percentage of black people, colored people have. It's a mindset of not caring or maybe not understanding about the importance of other lives and I only say this because I am who I am. I grew up where I grew up, and things not like this don't happen a lot where I'm from. But of course, we have a lot of YNs still shooting up the place. One of my homes got shot up not that long ago. You got it was an incident with my sister where there's some YNs chasing some other YNs and they shooting at the car, and my sister, on my sister's street, and they getting down. It's just, I'm sorry, Keena, but it's just funny video of Keena and them crawling out of her little walk. She has like a veranda out on her porch, and her crawling back in. But it's just one of those things where our young people, our young black people, have to some degree have been raised not caring a lot about life, caring not a lot about other people's lives, and being more selfish in the idea that it doesn't matter what's going on with you. I can take your life because of you not giving me a shift at my job. I'm not giving me time in my job. It baffles me that's what it is. So let's check it out. I tried not to be all up in this story, but of course it's all over everything. All my friends is talking about it, so I definitely had to check it out and give my opinion. Let's check this out.
My mama is gone. It's not fair. It's not fair.
A heartbreaking scene in East Point where a dispute between two co-workers ended in a deadly stabbing. How police say witnesses helped catch the suspect. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Rochelle Graham. That family is devastated after learning their mother was stabbed to death at a McDonald's, allegedly by one of her co-workers. Our Jack Springate joins us live outside that McDonald's. He talked to the family as they continue to mourn their mother's loss. Jack?
Well, Rochelle, emotions of utter disbelief from family members about what happened this morning to 39-year-old mother of 6, Jennifer Harris. Her daughters not only tell me that they're shocked by the fact that the suspect in this case is someone they've met before, a co-worker of their mother's, but also that this all happened at a place where their mother worked to provide for her 6 kids.
My mama died trying to take care of us.
Layers of emotion poured out of Harris's oldest daughter as she tries to process losing her mother.
She was so good to everybody. A hard-working woman. My mama was even good to her.
Griffin talking about the suspect, a 26-year-old woman who she says met these kids before as one of her mom's co-workers before they'd know her as the person accused of killing their mother.
We met the lady and everything. I don't understand why she had to kill her.
Police say Harris, the manager during the shift, sent the suspect home following an argument. They claim the suspect returned from her car with a knife and mask and started attacking the victim. They say she only stopped when a customer at the drive-thru fired his gun in the air to stop the attack.
The suspect stopped stabbing the victim. She dropped the knife and started running away. The Good Samaritan actually showed courage by running after the suspect and was able to detain her until officers arrived.
It was only when they showed up for their later shifts that other employees learned why they wouldn't be working today.
I'm shocked. I couldn't believe it. You know, I was devastated. I never would have thought something like this was going to happen there.
Now, obviously, a lot of emotions and a lot of processing by family members today, but they do say they plan on creating a fund to raise money to provide for Harris's 6 kids. I'll update our story online with ways you can help as soon as I learn more from family members. But for now, reporting live in East Point, I'm Jack Springate, CBS News, Detroit.
6 children, so difficult to hear that daughter's pain. You can only hope they have an incredible support system. Jack, thank you for the live report.
So, wow.
Night.
6
Elmira spent all
kids.
day at the crash.
It's mind blowing. It's baffling. It's baffling. It's what I truly never understand in these situations is how that she has to, the attacker, she has to understand that she's going to prison for some decent amount of time. She has to understand that she took somebody's life. She went in her car and grabbed a knife and came back in and took this young lady's life. And I just don't understand where the gravitas comes from, where the where the audacity comes from. Where do these children? Because I'm in 26 is not young, so she's not a child. She's an adult. But where does this mindset to have the audacity to do such a thing and not think about the consequences, not only for yourself, but the person that you're attacking and their family? I truly don't understand how these people are growing up with this audacity to do these things. I truly don't understand how you could have the mindset. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know who I am and I know my past, and I really don't have a lot of room to talk per se. But I understand that I've always understood that, you didn't want to hurt somebody, you didn't want to kill somebody, not only because you would be taking their lives and destroying their lives and their family lives, but you didn't want to do such a thing to destroy your own life. You don't have enough self-preservation to understand that you taking this lady's life is destroying yours, pretty much going to destroy a good percentage of the people around you's lives as well. It's just the audacity is what really gets me. That is truly what gets me. The mindset. It's got to be the mindset. It's got to be the idea that what were you thinking? That you were going to go in here because this lady sent you home because you had an argument, which is her right because she is your manager, and that's how businesses work, chain of command, that you would go outside, think about it, because you had to think about it, and put a mask on, thinking the mask, what do you think the mask is going to do? Keep people from not knowing it was you when you just had this argument with this lady? I just don't understand. For you to go out into your car and for you to grab a knife, go back in here and stab this lady, what do you think was going to happen to you? And this is also, and I truly believe that this is also a problem when it comes to like social media, because I've been here about the story for a couple of days now, and I've seen storylines. I've even seen the young lady do a video, right? And the big problem is that so many people were advocating, were trying to say to some degree that what she did was understandable or right, or talking about that the lady who got killed was just being mean to her. And that's part of the problem. That is a major part of the problem, is the other people's ability to back the negativity of people, the ability to or desire to make people think that the negativity that they're spewing is okay. The negative things that they're doing is okay. Killing somebody is okay. That in itself is another major problem that we have in this world today. The idea that, people could do wrong. It's the whole thing of the things that were frowned upon back in the day that people are okay with. It was frowned upon to be a drug addict back in the day. Now people are openly drug addicts. It was frowned upon to get pregnant without, knowing who the father is or getting with the father. Not a problem today. So many things that were frowned upon, were looked down upon, were thought to be a problem because they were a problem, is just allowed to be okay. And this is what breeds the attitudes that these people have, to the point where they can think that they can go into a McDonald's and stab somebody to death, and think to some degree that, because they have to think to some degree that that's got to be okay. So real quick, we're going to check out the video that happened recently about the fundraiser, because I want to make sure everybody understands that people are out there helping this young lady who lost her life and all of her children, and that's what's going to be important now. We can't sit here and dwell in the negativity of her losing her life. We have to move forward, and lots of people are doing things to help her move forward, and that's a good thing. So let's check it out.
A community in shock over the murder of Jennifer Harris. She's the McDonald's manager, stabbed to death last week inside the location on 9 Mile in East Point. And that's where people gathered tonight to remember the mother of 6. Victor Williams is live with what people are saying following a balloon release in Jennifer Harris's honor. Victor, good evening.
Yeah, that's right. Hey there. Good evening, Kimberly. There were just so many people right here to honor, of course, Jennifer Harris. As you guys can see from this video we're about to play, it was a huge balloon release that took place right here at the same McDonald's where Jennifer was killed, and sadly, she was stabbed in the face multiple times by an employee. We had family, friends, co-workers, and then community members who were still in shock that were here to pay their respects and honor this woman. She was a single mother of 6. In the meantime, 26-year-old Afeni Muhammad is now charged with first-degree murder, carrying a dangerous weapon with unlawful intent, and then being a habitual offender. We've learned that she's also connected to a prior stabbing elsewhere, but it's believed that she was sent home in this situation and then came back to commit the murder, allegedly stabbing Jennifer in the face at least 15 times. She's now being held on a $25 million bond, but the pain is almost too much to bear for family members.
We're so grateful. It's a lot of people that's here to support my sister, her children. It's really great, and I know she's grateful for that as well. And we're going to miss her.
A trust fund has now been set up for the kids, but we are hearing that there are some scamming GoFundMe accounts out there, so we'll have more about that tonight at 11. In the meantime, we are live in East Point. Victor Williams, Local 4.
Already, some people trying to do the right thing.
Right now,
and there's already a point where they're deciding that they're going to start scams and go against the help that, like even the McDonald's. I read the story where the franchise owner of the McDonald's is going to be paying for the burial. He's going to be setting up a GoFundMe for the children and all kinds of great things. But yet and still, we have people already using this as an opportunity to scam. And that's where we live in, man. It's a horrible situation. And, you know, people are going to... You would hope that people would try to gather something positive out of this. But it's just another situation where, you know, negativity reigns. And the fact that this young lady that attacked her had priors and had already stabbed somebody, and oh man, I can't. It's just horrible. It is just really just horrible, and it's par for the course for a lot of black neighborhoods and black areas that have YNs or younger black people that are deciding or raised to believe that they can't be touched, that they're untouchable, that they can do whatever they want. And I don't know if it's a lack of fathers in the homes. I don't know if it's living or being raised in a poverty-stricken situation, but we have to figure out what is putting in some people's minds that this, to some degree, to any degree, is okay. To any degree that it would be okay for you to be upset that your manager at your job decides that they're going to send you home, and you decide that you're going to go steam in your car for a hot second, put on a mask and go back in and stab this manager to death and deprive her 6 children of a mother that worked extremely hard for them. Now, mind you, I want to say this. This is not just a people of color situation. You know, we know that, you know, there's young children that don't believe they're invincible all over the place. But for me, and for my people, I just see it a lot. And the young YNs, as they call themselves, or what most people call them, with the bipping and the carjacking. I watch a lot of police shows and, you know, those type of things. So I know that it's widespread. And of course, when I go home, I see what I see. So let us pray for that young lady's family. Pray for, you know, just pray for her children. Because her losing her life and her family losing her is massive. But the massive loss is for those 6 children that she was raising. by herself. What are they going to do? We can only hope for the best, my friends. All right, let me go and let y'all get up out of here. It has been a somber end of another episode of the Car Concierge, and I told y'all this is going to ruin my beautifully happy day. But it's okay. I got y'all the story I wanted to get y'all. Please hit the like, share, subscribe button. Hit me in DMs if you have any questions about cars, real estate, or anything else, and I'll answer back. Y'all have a good day. Peace.